Hey guys, welcome to T.O.S. I'm your host Loar Loarii. T.O.S is basically a social media platform that I guess shows the positive side of African youth and the glory that we have within us. It's just to combat what you see on the mainstream media at the moment and the things that don't actually show you. So that's why it's called the Other Side, which stands for T.O.S. Today I have an amazing guest. I'm not going to say her name, but I'll let her introduce herself. Please help me and warm welcome to Victoria Franco. How you doing?
Good.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this show today, and hopefully we'll have great discussion and come out with all this positive that is required.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time and the opportunity, for coming in and I guess using your time and giving back basically.
Pleasure.
With that being said, just give us a little bit about yourself. Who's Victoria and who's this great woman and where she started and how we got to today. So just a quick recap of who you are.
Wow, you're giving me a big head. What do? I'm married, I have 2 kids, even though I look this young, but I have 2 little girls.
Yeah.
I studied social work, finished a few years back, and I've been practicing in different parts of the social work profession. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So much in so little, but take us back in how you started, especially like picking the course you wanted to do, let alone picking the husband, all that. We can get into it later. Don't worry about that. Let's just go back a bit. So you migrated to Australia.
Yeah.
How was your journey from there and just step by step?
Yeah. So we came to Australia in 2005.
Yeah.
I knew very little English, but I really my main goal was to learn English because English was something very classy back home. And I joined a basketball team. So I used to play basketball, and 2 years after that, I realized my basketball coaches, 2 of them, one was a psychologist and the other one was a social worker, and he was a great mentor. And I knew I love to help people and work with people, but I didn't know that there's something called social work to fit what I really wanted to do. And when I found out, I asked him more questions and I became more interested, and I said, all right, I think I found what I really love to do and the name for that, and I'll be studying that. Yeah.
All right, so started way back then. That spark kind of started, and then from year 12, you went to uni. So you chose social work because you kind of like your coaches kind of got you into it, or something you were always interested in?
I have always been, I had the desire to help people and see difference and to empower people and sometimes to force people to bring out the best out of them, and that's dangerous sometimes. But seeing my coach and how he had a great impact on us and how he really wanted all of us to do well. He was a great mentor. So I said, why not be that? Like, this is what I want to do, and I have these role models in my life, so I want to be able to be a role model to others as well.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Like,
you could have been a doctor, you could have been a nurse.
Why our parents, they always say you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer. These 3. So I always had that song in mind, but I really never wanted to be a doctor.
But why did you pick social work?
Social work gives you the ability to really, I know every profession does that, but this is what I really love. Like, I have a very calm nature, I'm very empathetic, and I can listen to people. Like, naturally, I think I have active listening skills, and you really need that in social work because you work with people who have different, problems, and they really need that great listening skills. And I really wanted to see changes in people's life, and social work gives me the opportunity to work from a strengths-based perspective. And I always love to see strengths in people, and sometimes people don't even see it in themselves, and I'm that kind of person who wants to pull it out until they can see it. And social work gives me that platform to practice that.
Oh, well, that's amazing. From your field, which part of social work do you focus on? Because it's a big field.
Yes.
Which part do you focus on?
First, when I finished uni, I worked with unaccompanied minors,
Yeah.
so asylum seekers who are in community detention. And then I worked with the new migrants who are coming from Syria and different countries, so help them resettlement and all of that. And then I moved into counseling, so I've done a lot of specific counseling work with migrants as well. And at the moment I work as a public servant.
Oh wow.
Undercover public servant. I won't mention it, but it's still social work is a very diverse field. So the degree gives me the license to enter so many spaces, and I really love that. So you can change careers anytime you want.
Oh well, you have the skill, you have the personality for it, because you have this nurturing kind of caring personality about, you know, like you said, you're wanting people to grow, you want to challenge, and I think social work is a really good field for you from the beginning, so which is really awesome. With that being said, social work, as you, like I said, T.O.S is a social media platform that focusing on, you know, showing positive sides of African youth, henceforth why you're here. From a social worker's perspective, how does, I guess, the issues we see in the media of African youth, how does it track back to the families or stuff like that from a social work perspective?
This issue is really huge. It will need a very long time to really talk about it. But one thing that I've seen is the family structure. So back in Africa, the family structure is very different. One person's child is the community's child. You know, I don't know now. Things change even back in Africa.
Exactly, yeah.
But at the time when we were really young, you're everybody's child. Everyone will discipline you. Everyone will love you. And if you have issues with your parents, your uncle and aunties are there. Very big families. Where it's very different here. Like you find maybe a family of a single parent and there's no one else. So if there is any conflicts between the child and the parents, there's no one to mediate, and that becomes a larger thing. So I really think family structure and family breakdown is one big reason to why a lot of things happen. So if we're able to address this issue, and the other thing that I wanted to highlight is discipline or parenting in the African culture is a little bit different. A lot of people got used to even physical discipline, which is a no-no here.
I went past that.
Even at the school, we are all bashed, you know?
Yes.
It was a normal thing, but here it's different. So a lot of parents come here and they still want to continue that way of disciplining. Most of us, we were disciplined that way.
It worked. It worked. Barely, but it worked.
Yeah. But now it's a no-no. So, and a lot of parents don't have the opportunity to go classes where there is, you know, teaching to bring that kind of their parenting style, the good part of it, and then the good part of here, and bring it together. So they kind of become very disabled on how to parent your child. You beat them, they call the police, that's it, the police is on their side.
And then like just opens more problems than another problem.
Yes. So really people need to empower parents to become the kind of parents that is required. Because, and in saying that, some parents are hard-headed. Like, they don't want to change their ways.
That's true.
They don't want to compromise.
That's true.
So that becomes a problem, you know? Like, there's one example, a case that I was working with, and the father wanted to beat the child. And the child said, I'll call the police. And the father said, yeah, call them and I'll beat you right in front of the police, you know? What are you trying to do?
Wow.
So trying to prove that you are the adult, it doesn't really work here. So the balance have to be found.
It's a bit different, like, especially for those kids that grew up here. Like, they don't have really a sense of, like, I guess the parenthood back. You know, like how the parents did everything back home. But those that grew up here, especially like they watch TV and all these stuff, that their mentality and the way of looking at things changes. For the better, like for good and bad, the same thing. So you take both. I guess what our parents need to do and what we need to do as kids, we need to, I guess, meet halfway. Because our parents, you can't just tell them to change overnight because they had like years and years of doing the same thing. And their parents doing the same thing. It's within one generation to another. So I guess we're heading to that spark where the next generation is coming up.
Yes.
And that means we have to change things of the way we do things. One example was like one of the parents dropped off their kids at school, like an African parent dropped off their kids at school, and then another like an Australian parent.
Yeah,
And
I
then
know where you're heading.
The Australian parent kissed the kids goodbye, have a great day, and they went their way. And the African parent, you forgot your shoes, blah blah blah, like just going at him, you know, it's just it's different. It's very different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like most of these kids, the way they interpret love is different. So like every kid needs love, and the way we interpret love is very different back home.
Yes.
Especially our parents, the way their parents showed them how their love was. Oh, I bought you stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Here's not enough. We got everything. We got PlayStation. We bought that. We got the new latest game. We bought that. We got TV. We got everything. But I guess what's missing.
They need the hugs, and that's the hard thing.
Exactly.
You become a very solid person if you've never received hugs yourself and kisses, and then now even us, not just our parents, some of us that became parents now, it's hard to do that.
Really?
Because I know a lot of friends who will be like, without realizing, it's like unconscious thing that they do. Like the child is coming, I don't like hugging, I don't like kissing.
Especially as men, it's different too. With females,
that's even worse.
Yeah, with females, it's natural. You know, you guys are caregivers, etc., etc. But with men, like another man hugging another man, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. Pause. Like it's different. Like you know, having that fatherhood in the house of not just showing you love in a different space.
Yes.
Like the only love we see is intimacy between a man and a woman. But then love is far greater than that.
Yes.
In terms of like from your father
to a child.
Exactly. Exactly.
Even the parents, like if they have good relationship, the kids watch that. But a lot of kids don't see their parents nothing. Like it's like they're always in a war. The parents understand that's how we are. We're just acting so tough and all of that. But the kids will see it as, oh, my parents, I've never seen them even holding hands, you know? Always mom is in front, dad is at the back. So all of these things, it will take a very long time for it to change, for the people to change. And personally, I think it's really hard for people to change. However, we can try to have a space where communication is allowed, so they can communicate, so the children can try to see the other side, you know, of why the parents is like that. They still love you even if they're not hugging you. So this kind of conversations need to be had, so that people can understand each other and, like you say, try to meet halfway. Yeah,
exactly. It's like you said, like family is where everything starts at home. And then the way you kind of like the way you go throughout life, it starts from home, and then you discover who you are as a man, as a woman, and then it goes like out there to your friends, to what kind of work you want to do. But like you said, it starts first at home. So with meeting halfway, how do we do that? As kids and parents, what kind of programs we put in place, what kind of conversation that we need to have? How would you go about it from a parent, one perspective, from a social worker, and then from Victoria, the one that experienced through everything, and then now, how would you go about it?
I think from a parent's perspective, respect. So it doesn't matter if the child is young or whatever, you need to start to teach yourself as a parent to respect what your child is saying and listen. Because what we've been through is, you just shut up. Like you as a child, your words, your ideas is not really valued. And your idea may be the idea that will save everyone, but it still is not valued. So as a parent, I'm teaching myself to listen to the kids, what they're saying, and then if I disagree, explain. A lot of us, we grew where there's no explanation. There's just condemnation, you know? You have done this, you this and this. There's no explanation. So we really need to have that space to explain. And what else did you say?
So how would the parents do that, and the kids as well?
We need to create a space for dialogue, not monologue, always one side, just telling the young, do this and do this and do this, or just condemning them, you have done this and you're always punished. But we need to have a space where both listen to each other and see why this person is acting this way and why this person is acting this way.
Yeah.
And that is straight away will not solve the problem, but it will be a starting point to address this disengagement between the elders and the young. Yeah. Even some of us who came here very young, if we decide to act exactly the way our parents or many adults are acting, it still will be considered like we came long time ago when we were really old, when we actually grew here. So it's not really about the age, but the desire to have that dialogue together and then create a new way of communication and change. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. Also, one last thing on this topic.
Yes.
If you could go back to the way you did things in terms of with your parents, etc., etc.
Yeah.
How would you change things? Especially making choices as a young adult, especially when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
They say you study this, but you want to study this. How would you give advice to some of the kids out there that want to kind of face their parents, like, hey, mom, dad, I want to do this, but you're not letting me do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how we grow and we discover ourselves.
I would like to be brutally honest, but they may think I'm teaching the kids bad thing, but
yeah,
I think it's good to tell them the truth. I know a friend who was forced to study medicine. He's advanced in age than I am, but was forced to study medicine just because the parents wanted to tell the whole community my child is a doctor. He studied, he finished, got the certificate and said, Mom and Dad, here, take it, do whatever. Now I'm going to study what I want to study.
Oh, wow.
How many years it takes to study medicine? So many years. So I think kids need to be very honest with their parents. Tell them exactly what you want to do and why you want to do it. If they're still forcing you, you need to really be honest. Like, personally, a lot of my parents, even, they didn't really understand what social work is. They say you don't have to do 4 years in uni to become a social worker. You can just help people for free.
Yeah.
But that's not it. I've learned a lot of things in at uni, but I had to persist. I said, this is what I want to do and this is what I want to do. Anything else, I'm not doing. I can go work in markets or whatever that doesn't require qualification. So finally, they kind of understood it. And when they saw me on my graduation day, they really understood it was a hard work. It's not just an easy thing. Yeah, so I would say that be honest with your parents. Tell them what you want to do and why you want to do it. Yeah,
I think
and on the other side, I would like to tell parents who are watching as well, do not force your children to do what you wanted to do and you failed to do. A lot of parents are forcing their children, be a doctor because they always wanted that title, or be a lawyer, or you want to please the community. The community are not the one doing the assignments, the essays, and a lot of parents haven't been to school here. It's not easy. So do not force your children to do what you wanted to do. Let them do what they love, because the love that they have for this subject or this course will always drive them, to try to study for exams to want to pass. Exactly.
I think it goes both ways as well. Like, it's for the parents to do that, but as a child, you got to create that trust between you and your parents. You can't just say, I'm studying this, 2 months later you quit it and you start something else. Like, that's how they lose trust in you and lose faith in you and how you can do it. So it goes both ways. Wow. It's a big topic. We can go on for days. I guess one thing we touched on is, family kind of is the start of everything. And we spoke about how the family structure has changed. That's why we see different effects on, especially, would you say that links to the media and how the kids I guess perceived in the media because of the outburst that happens, or not really?
I think just going back to the family breakdowns, etc., or parents that are single parent moms, every child, especially boys, even that scientifically have been proven, they need a male role model, whether it's their father or grandfather, or they just need a positive male role model, someone that they develop attachment with. and that automatically will have a great impact. Even if they decide to take the wrong direction, it will still be inbuilt in them. It's just something that boys have. But a lot of back home, if the father is not there for whatever reason, the uncle is there to fill that place, you know, the grandpa is there to fill that place. But here, if the father is absent, a male role model is absent for good. And then this child now try to look for another male role model, whether it's friends or whatever, to become attached with. And it could be the wrong person, but they just yearning that attachment. And because of that, they can choose to do anything that we see in the media. It's just to belong somewhere, you know?
Yeah, pre-pressure.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like some kids, they just like, oh, you don't want to do this, you want to be part of us, blah, blah, blah. You're weak if you don't do this, and it just builds up, and then your ego takes over.
Yes.
And then you want to fit in, you want to belong. It's a very big issue. It will not be fixed overnight.
Yes.
But how could we, I guess, start on I guess, tackling this issue and exploring it further, and hopefully one day we can conquer it? How do you think we can start doing that?
I think we can start with the parents. A lot of parents are heartbroken. No parents who still have sense in their mind would want their child to go to prison or become a drug dealer or become, you know, whatever. That is not good. No parent will want that. So we need to start with the parents, work with them and empower them in giving them new skills on their parenting, building up skills that they already have as parents. Because no parent really decides to, you know, overnight, I just want to be a bad parent and I want to do this to my kids. No. But because maybe they lack knowledge in certain area, they're struggling, or maybe they just is struggling and they don't have anyone to help them and they just gave up, you know? So we need to start with families and see the structure of the families. If it's a single mom's family, try to get mentors to these boys. If it's a family that have issues, try to resolve these issues, you know, and create that home environment, not a house environment. A lot of homes became just a house. Yeah, so I really think we need to start with the parents and the family to empower them. You know, we look at only what's in the media, what is currently happening, and the boys maybe who are already projected there. But there are still a lot of young boys and kids that are growing in this family. If we don't try to work with the parents, most of this is going to increase, and it's going to get worse again. Yes.
So we have a small segment, guys, 2 segments. One is every guest we're going to interview. We're going to have a small item, so something or picture. It could be a picture, it could be anything, an item that means so much to them and has a great story to them. That's one segment we're going to, from now on, like add to the show. And also one fact about the individual that we don't know. Victoria could be a former NBA star, anything, right? So we'll go from there. So what would you say is your personal item or your go-to for inspiration, for whatever?
A pen.
A pen.
Yes. It was actually a hard question, and I was thinking about it, but I realized a pen.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
This is knowledge to me, and this is health, mental health to me, good mind. Like, I love to write, and I need a pen to write. So if I'm disappointed, if I'm stressed, if I'm upset, if I'm happy, I really love to write. The first thing I look at is pen and paper, and I put everything down, and that brings my sanity into space. So I would definitely say pen. I haven't really thought about it for a long time, but when you ask that question, I realize a pen is something that is very important to me. Yeah.
Oh wow, pen.
Yeah.
I never saw that coming.
All the books we read.
Yeah.
We just recently have laptops and all of that.
Good Manners Library will be closing in 15 minutes at 8 p.m. If you wish to borrow any items, please make your final selections now and make your way to the loading station. Thank you.
A pen. Oh, I never saw that coming. The last time we had a watch, now we have a pen.
Yes.
Who knows? It could be many other things.
Even there's laptops and all that, iPads. I still like a pen. I think I'm old school and I'll remain old school. If they're checking all the pens, I better start saving them now.
Okay, that's awesome. Just to kind of wrap up the show, we're gonna We will need one fact about Victoria that no one knows about. Something that like, oh, Victoria does that or that, all that. What's one fact you could say about you that we don't know?
I don't know if you don't know, but I'm actually a very shy person.
No. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm an introvert.
I saw all your posts, encouraging, all this. Shy.
But the reality is, like, I think I am, and I think I am an I love to be indoors. I'm an introvert. However, in saying that, I do believe, and I want to prove that if you're shy or if you're an introvert, you can do anything once you decide to do it. So once in a while, I'll get back to that space, and I feel really comfortable being in that space, but I don't allow that space to limit me. So I have goals that I want to achieve, whether it's through making videos. The first video I made, I don't know even how I was about to wet myself. But I had to make it to tell myself, okay, this is your comfort zone, but your comfort zone is not really going to take you where you want to go. So,
exactly.
You know, once in a while you can come back to this comfort zone, but always come out of that and do what needs to be done. Yeah. So a lot of people will not think I'm an introvert or I'm a quiet person, except those who are really, really close. When they like, let's go for dinner or movies, I would be like, why can't we just watch it at home? And I would try to find excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
So now you know, and everybody knows.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming past and sharing your stories with us and giving us really good insight on the current issue and how we can fix it going long term. It's not a, I guess, issue that we can fix
Quick
tomorrow.
fix, yeah.
Exactly. We need to I guess, implement things for generations, not just for like, you know, like have a program 10 years finish kind of thing. We need to kind of think long term, 10, 20, 30 years from now, how does it look like and how can it affect us? So thank you so much for joining us and coming past. For those that, you know, you guys been watching, I hope, I guess you were inspired. If you had any questions regarding the issue, anything you want to expand on, anything you want to discuss, please, you know, like, comment, share if you have to, and just, you know, let's continue the I guess the conversation moving forward. So thank you for tuning in for episode 2. We've got so much more episode. Great people. Thank you, great Victoria, Queen Victoria, for coming past and dropping your knowledge on us. I hope you guys have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.